Obsession. When you think about a incredibly strong pull, like a need, a desire, a sort of unrestrainable attraction, most people see that as a good thing, right? You look at romance, you look at Romeo and Juliet, and you think of these two characters that just instantly clicked in a way that life, in the way that the people around them, in a way that family values, quote unquote, weren't unable to stop their advances towards each other, all the way to their final unfortunate finale, where, if you know, William Shakespeare, big fan, was able to represent a interesting twist to what one might say the happily ever after. And in 2026's film Obsession, we get another interpretation of what it means to fall in love. And fall in love is the correct term of phrase, because while normally, if you're a healthy individual, the way you built a relationship is by slowly getting to know somebody, slowly getting to understand someone to a point where you're able to be comfortable enough to say, you know what, this attraction is more than something superficial. I would really like to advance our relationship to the next level, and if you're willing, then let's do this journey together. So when that happens and people are able to really start building a future together, God knows if that happens in this generation, but when that does happen, you can bet your bottom dollar that there's something beautiful being built. Something that I can only assume most men, gentlemen, are hopefully looking forward to in the future. But where would we be without the interesting twists and turns from one sadistic Blumhouse production studios? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is one of those films where a young gentleman is suddenly given the opportunity to grant one wish. One wish from a one-wish willow. Where does this wishing power come from? Don't worry about it. That's irrelevant. At least it was for our gentleman here, as he decides in the act of desperation, he decides that, you know what, all I really want in life is that this girl would love me more than anybody else in the world. Period. And full stop. He gets what he wishes for. Right away, this film starts building this narrative. As in, it presents characters, it gives them a certain, let's call it a shtick or a trait that you can immediately understand or latch onto. And it starts to show you how by the changing of one person, things around the circle start to fluctuate, shall we say. That being said, this was perhaps just a bit more than I was ready to chew. As in, some of y'all might not know, but yanderes are a thing in anime. There is such a thing known as Mirai Nikki, aka the Future Diary, where some people around the internet would highlight the yandere queen as one, Gasai. Now, how do I know all that information and why am I so eager to share that? I'll leave that up to you. However, when I understood that this film was gonna be something extra, something more akin to what I would consider a Japanese animation horror thing. I was excited. I was very excited. Excited. But I was not ready for those moments, those instances, those Blumhouse production traits where some things just weren't looking right. It's obvious that this girl is acting differently. Sure, she's now suddenly attracted to this, let's call him a diary of a wimpy kid who would not end up getting the girl, but out of nowhere this is happening and their universe is slowly starting to change. But she is also going through a sort of change. Now following one single direction, one programming in her brain to solely be infatuated with this young man. And unfortunately, things could have gone a lot better. I don't know how to phrase this in a certain way that's nice or whatever, but there are multiple instances in this film where you can tell this guy just doesn't have what it takes to be, what's the word? Be bigger than himself in the way that rather than being able to give something, I personally felt he was constantly trying to receive something. And that was something that bothered me. Naturally, it's what makes this movie flow in the way that it's flowing. So let that be a cautionary tale to younger gentlemen out there in the universe. But I couldn't help but feel that there was like a few moments that, like, you know what, we could have made things not as bad. That being said, when you actually find out why these things happen the way they happen and why she is reacting in the way she is reacting, it does lead to another level of conscious, let's call it dabbling, where, yeah, in the end, in the right of finales, he was no bueno. So what this story does, where it goes, how it portrays the relationship, and how extreme those certain levels of symbiosis can be, is generally concerning, right? And that is a part of horror, sure. But again, there's some moments in this where you probably won't see it coming, and it comes to you in a way that, from what I understood from it, really opens up a couple of interesting questions. But I can't really get into that without being super annoying and spoiling stuff, and you know that I really appreciate when you all are able to experience moments for yourselves in the theater, at home, if that's what you're doing. But regardless, I would love to say that yanderes are real, and that's kind of cool. And it doesn't have to be a bad thing. But when you're presented in a scenario where these people are these people, yeah, things were never gonna work out. So I guess sometimes you do need a little miracle to make things happen. But careful what you wish for, because it may be your one last wish. That being said, crazy movie, very intense. Blumhouse being Blumhouse. I'm curious to see how the men, of course the gentlemen, are gonna react to this, and I'm curious to see how the females are gonna react to this in a way of like, wow, who would do such a thing? Wink, wink, smile. And we'll have to wait and see what kind of universe we live in. So, with all that being said, I got time. I'm gonna be excited. Tomorrow we are getting ready to go to Universal Studios Hollywood to go hang out with Scooby-Doo and the gang with the Fan Fest nights, and that's gonna be a whole ordeal. I got cameras ready to go, and hopefully it's gonna be a fun one. So look forward to nothing, but look forward to something, and I will do my best to make it happen if I can. So that being said, hopefully you all get a chance to check this out. Hopefully you enjoy it as much as I did, and hopefully you let me know what is the yandere system like these days. But yeah, let me know where are we at with this thing, because I'm really hoping that we figure things out and it comes around. So that being said, I'm gonna wish you all adieu. I'm gonna say bye-bye, and I'm gonna go into the next tomorrow. But with all that being said, it's been your boy, EXP 666, wishing you buenos dias, buenas noches, and awesome mañana. But until then, have a nice weekend. Catch you all. Ciao. Matane. Solo.